one that he told Moses to build in the wilderness was only a copy of, it was actually a copy of how would you say, a small scale model of the real sanctuary that we find in heaven. And in the sanctuary, you had 3 apartments. You had the court, where the sacrifices were offered. You had the holy place, where the priest entered to intercede for the sins of Israel. And you had the most holy place, where the Ark of the Covenant was found, and inside the Ark of the Covenant was God's holy law. Now you say, Pastor, how do you know that the 3 angels' messages need to be connected or linked with the most holy place of the sanctuary? Let me give you some indications why. Day after tomorrow, in our 3rd lecture in this series, we're going to study what it means to fear God. In Scripture, very, very frequently, when you find that expression, fear God, it is linked with keeping the commandments of God. Just to give you one example, in Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13, it says, fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into what? Judgment. Notice how similar to Revelation 14, where it says, fear God, give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment has come. Ecclesiastes says, fear God and keep His commandments, for God will bring every work into what? Into judgment. Fearing God is coupled with keeping God's commandments. Now let me ask you, in which apartment of the sanctuary were the 10 commandments contained? They were contained in the most holy place. Furthermore, the first angel's message calls people to worship the Creator. Let me ask you, what sign did God give of worship to the Creator? You go back to Genesis chapter 2. It says that at the end of creation week, God rested on which day? God rested on the 7th day. And then He commanded Adam and Eve to rest every 7th day in commemoration of the work of creation. Now let me ask you, where is the Sabbath found in the sanctuary? It is found in the tables of the law, and the tables of the law were where? They were in the most holy place of the sanctuary. By the way, the 3 angels' messages end by speaking about a people who keep the commandments of God. So the commandments are involved, but the commandments are in the most holy place. The first angel's message says, worship the Creator. The sign of the Creator is the Sabbath. The Sabbath was in the law, and the law is in the most holy place of the sanctuary. But there's more. The first angel's message also tells us that the hour of God's judgment has come. Let me ask you, in which apartment of the sanctuary in the Old Testament do you have an illustration of the judgment? Once a year, on the great Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the great judgment day of Israel, those who were faithful to God and those who were unfaithful to God were separated one from another in the judgment when the law of God came into view. And in what apartment did the Day of Atonement take place primarily? It took place in the most holy place. That's where the blood was sprinkled, was on the mercy seat in the most holy place to satisfy the demands of the law. So when the first angel's message says, the hour of His judgment has come, immediately we say, if this is the judgment, it must involve the law, because we will be judged by the perfect law of liberty, and the law was in which apartment? In the most holy place of the heavenly sanctuary. But there's more. Do you know that this passage that we're studying actually begins in Revelation 11 and verse 19?